Hi, welcome to our presentation on falls and falls prevention. Falls in older adults are viewed as a major public health concern due to its ability to affect rates of morbidity, mortality, and the cost of health services. According to Massoud and Morris, a fall is defined as an event which results in a person coming to rest unintentionally on the ground or other lower level, not as a result of major intrinsic event such as a stroke or overwhelming hazard. The event of a fall occurring has a capability to reduce an older adult's ability to remain independent. Elders experiencing a fall are common in community dwellings and increase exponentially with age. Approximately 28 to 35% of individuals aged 65 and older encountered at least one fall over a period of 1 year. This percentage increases by 32 to 42% among individuals aged 75 and older. And those who fall, approximately 65% are women and 44% are men. These occurrences increase during the winter season and especially among women. Different studies have identified potential risk factors for falling. Most can be classified into 5 categories, which is environmental, medication, medical conditions and changes associated with aging, nutritional, and lack of exercise. Environment refers to one's physical surroundings, such as bathtubs, poor lightings, and loose carpets. Medications, few examples are antidepressants, sedatives, and hypnotics. Medical conditions and changes associated with aging refer to poor vision or cognitive impairments. Nutritional would be calcium and vitamin D deficiencies, and lack of exercise is self-explanatory. Around 40 to 60% of falls lead to injuries, with 30 to 50% being minor injuries, 5 to 6 major injuries, and 5% being fractures, which are probably the most common admission fall-related injury. Overall, injuries can vary from laceration, hip fractures, and head traumas that all contribute to reduced physical mobility. Fall-related accidents are predisposing factors in about 40% of the events leading to long-term institutional care in older adults. Falls are the leading cause of injury-related deaths among adults aged 65 and older. With the demographic changing and high prevalence of falls occurring among the elderly, risk assessment and necessary intervention seem mandatory to address this growing concern. Now we're going to look at a study that was done in Germany that researched the effects of targeted exercise intervention in a clustered randomized trial. The research study, titled Fall Prevention in a Primary Care Setting, investigated whether the implementation of group exercise combined with individualized home-based training through primary care settings had the ability to reduce the number of falls among older adults in community dwellings. So the first step used to carry out the study is recruitment. The study is structured as a clustered randomized 2-level trial and began by recruiting general practitioners in southern Germany through local peer groups and quality circles. 40 general practices agreed to participate in the study. However, 7 dropped out, leaving 33 general practices. The general practices included patients aged 65 and older. The total was 378 older adults that participated. For inclusion into the trial, the study only considered those at risk of physical fall, which was defined as 1 or more falls in the past 12 months, lower physical function, which refers to physical performance tests, and lastly, the fear of falling. The next step in methods was distinguishing what areas of the study that required measurement. The primary outcome measure was to reduce the number of falls. Therefore, falls and trips were monitored by participants and recorded on a monthly basis that was then sent in a prepaid envelope to the study coordinators. Assistants to the study would follow up on any reported fall and obtain any necessary information through a telephone interview. The second outcome measure were the number of fall-related injuries, improvement in physical functions, and the fear of falling. Physical function was assessed using the timed up and go test, strength with the chair stand test, and balance with the modified Romberg test. Lastly, the fear of falling was assessed with the German version of the Fall Efficacy Scale International Physical Function. The third step is randomization. An outside statistician randomized the practices using computer-generated random numbers to group practices into intervention or control groups. Here we can see how the baseline numbers was split among groups. Is a stage of intervention. Physicians from the participating general practices were trained in workshops to understand general information about falls and fall risk assessment. The physicians were required in the intervention group to supervise the exercise training programs that took place 1 hour a week for 16 weeks. The programs included exercises that address strength and power training, challenging balance and gait training, behavioral aspects, and functional training conducted by a fall prevention instructor such as a physiotherapist or a sports scientist, whereas the control group, they received no structured treatment to prevent falls. The results of the study show that each training group consisted of 4 to 12 participants. In total, 82% participated more than 10 training sessions, and 46% of the patients performed the home exercise program 10 times or more. In the 12 months, 291 falls among 222 individuals were recorded in the intervention groups, compared to 367 falls among 156 individuals in the control group. Patients that reported no falls in the 12 months were 58.1%, or 129 individuals in the intervention group, and 50.6%, or 79 individuals in the control group. The results of the physical test between each group was also identified. The timed up and go test showed small improvements among the intervention group, whereas the control group required more time for this test. For the chair stand test, in the control group, 20 out of 114 patients were not able to stand up from a chair 5 times, compared to the 12 out of 184 patients in the intervention group. The balance performance in the Romberg test significantly increased in the intervention group compared to the control group. And lastly, the fear of falling was significantly reduced in the intervention group and remained the same among the control group. Results of the study confirmed that the implementation of an exercise-based fall prevention program and general practices can significantly reduce the number of falls per individual and prevent fall among adults who are at higher risk. During the 12-month period, 290 falls occurred in the intervention group, and 367 falls were reported in the control group. This shows a significant lower incident rate of falls in the intervention group when being compared to the control group, and thus reduces one's odds of being a faller. The limitations are the following. Studies in primary care settings have an impact on study design. The primary care setting's main purpose is to ensure the general care of all patients. Therefore, to implement a program with a wide range of older adults with a high risk of falling means that the study had to include a usual older patient in the general practice without further exclusion criteria. Additionally, after the randomization, the general practitioner enrolled patients for the study according to the inclusion and exclusion criteria. It may have been biased when including patients of better physical abilities in contrast to the control group. Masking of participants was not possible because half of the patients were allocated to the control group and therefore were not enrolled in any exercise intervention. Now we'll look at ways on how to prevent falls from occurring.
Promoting falls from happening is the best defense against the injuries that accompany falls. Most of the time, elderly individuals do not want to conform into living in retirement homes. They may feel as if their independence will be taken away, and retirement homes have a stigma of being a terrible place to live in. Today, some retirement homes have changed completely. They are all not depressing and gloomy anymore. As you get older, there will be a time when you can remain completely self-sufficient but still need some additional help watching over you. Falls are the #1 danger to seniors and can cause severe damage, as we all know. There should be a time when elderly individuals come to the conclusion that it is time for them to be living somewhere that is more safe for them. They can consider living in an independent living retirement home. What makes independent living retirement homes different than the traditional retirement homes is that independent retirement homes allow one to keep their independence while living in a safe environment. For example, Comfort Life retirement communities allow the residents to have complete independence and allow them to go about their day without interrupting them. The residents won't be bothered by the safety features of this independent retirement home because they are out of the way. These independent homes have round-the-clock security comprised of cameras and guards in the case of an emergency, such as a fall, and as well as an emergency bell call in their suite. In the case of a fall, inside or outside of the resident's suite, there will be help readily available to them as soon as they need it. The homes are also structurally built without stairs and handlebars to assist them. They are built with sit-down showers and handlebars next to the toilet for added safety. By having these seniors in a safer environment, it will ease their loved ones' states of mind as well as their own. Most importantly, it will keep them from getting severely injured in the case of a fall while preserving their freedom as well. Another alternative that can help the prevention of falls in seniors is for the seniors to move into a bungalow-styled home. Bungalow-styled homes usually consist of 2 floors, a main floor and a basement. This option is only obtainable if the individual is ready and content with moving into a smaller home. Because moving homes is a huge lifestyle decision, the individual must be certain that this is the decision that they want. Every amenity that the individual needs, like the kitchen, bedroom, and living room, will be on the main floor, while the second floor is only a few steps away compared to the multiple staircases in a traditional 3-story house. Bungalow homes are usually relatively smaller and have shorter staircase sets than regular homes, which will decrease the likelihood of a fall from occurring. How the media portrays falls in seniors. Every day, we are all exposed to media, art, advertisements, and entertainment, whether it be through the medium of commercials, magazines, television shows, or movies. This exposure can alter the way we perceive things by how the media wants to portray them as. In the case of falls in the elderly, the media tends to portray them as people who are helpless and as people who are not capable of taking care of themselves. Because of the way they are shown, it can convince people to think that they are fragile and frail individuals who cannot fend for themselves. This is a still for the Acorn Stairlift commercial alongside another commercial where the stairlift is being used. These commercials portray this notion to the public. The Acorn Stairlift is a mechanism made specifically for elders who are unable to travel from one level to another level of their home safely. The Acorn Stairlift makes it possible for them to travel safely and prevent them from falling and tripping on foreign objects. In the still on the right, the commercial is using the stairlift and is making a joke out of the topic. You can tell from the senior's face that she is in need of help, but the commercial portrays that as a funny thing. Although this commercial has great intentions and purposes, the commercial's corny aspect may make it seem like a joke to some of the viewers, especially its younger viewers. The commercial has poor acting and is comprised of cliched sayings. These corny aspects make the elderly look somewhat silly when this topic should be taken very seriously. This is not an accurate depiction of all elders who need assistance with stairs because they are not helpless beings. Other than that, most of those elders are able to remain self-sufficient. Their inability to walk up and down the stairs is not something to poke fun at. Even though this is most likely not the intention with this commercial, the makers of this commercial has created a strong negative influence on ageism and the way the public may perceive them. This commercial makes getting older look like you lose your capabilities as well as your independence. This is not true at all. Getting older does not automatically mean that you will have to be dependent on others and things and that you are no longer self-sufficient. It is very important to note that every elderly individual is different. Some may need more assistance than others, some may need complete assistance from others, and some are completely self-sufficient and do not depend on the help of other people. Because everyone's needs are different, it is imperative that we do not portray and classify them into one category. In summation, falls are a real danger to senior citizens and we should all be taking this danger seriously. Almost all of us have an elderly person in our family, and it is important that we are aware of this issue and that we are doing all that we can to help. The best thing to do about this danger is to prevent accidents from happening or to provide immediate aid when it does occur. This can be done by placing or convincing our elders to move into safe long-term care homes. By doing so, it ensures the safety and well-being of seniors by making sure they are always protected and watched while allowing them to stay independent. You can also promote fall prevention by moving seniors into 2-story bungalow homes, which will lower the number of stairs one will have to take as opposed to taking traditional 3-story home stairs. This will decrease the likelihood of falls on the stairs because the stairs will be shorter and allowing less room to fall. These are some of the things that can be implemented into long-term care planning of preventing falls in a senior's life. In conclusion, it is important for the media to not show seniors and elders as one characterized group. When it comes to falls, sometimes they can be portrayed as fragile and helpless beings, and all this does is promote ageism to the younger viewers. We cannot perceive all seniors this way because, as stated earlier, all seniors are different. It is imperative that we give help to those who need the additional assistance and allow the ones who are self-sufficient to live their lives the way they want to. These are our references, and thank you so much for watching our video.